Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a great night for high school basketball here at the Bird's Nest in Uniondale. I'm James Wendt, he's Emre Prasad. Welcome inside the broadcast booth for the first student broadcast. We have the Kellenberg Memorial Firebirds going up against the St. Mary's Gales, a team from Uniondale and a team from Manhasset face off, with both teams as of a regular season record 1-3. Both teams are just excellent. They just are so dominant in three-point shooting. You know, Kellenberg had a great run last year with losing against St. Dom's. But, you know, Coach Tricarico, Coach Lyons, both alumni, show a lot of school spirit in their games. You know, very competitive guys. Coach Lyons has been definitely pushing the playmaking for his guys on the Kellenberg team. You know, you talk about guys like Christian Elazar and Luke O'Connor, and now Evan Prasad for the key points.
One big key point is playmaking and spacing. Kellenberg needs to find ways to get easy buckets against a good St. Mary's team. Finding gaps in their defense would lead them to success. Shooting long threes could make them lose possession easily. Another one is foul trouble, especially after the game they just had. The Firebirds had 25 fouls in their game against St. Anthony's, and that is not going to allow them to soar in the regular season. The Firebirds can't give teams free points in these close battles. Another one is capitalizing on mistakes. Letting St. Mary's stay in the game is the last thing the Firebirds want. St. Mary's is a dangerous team, and they could come back. Kellenberg needs to put them away early and to not let them linger. The season leaders, Michael Tagios at a 15.1 points per game. John Hastings with a 3.4 assists per game. Michael Tagios with a 7.8 rebounds per game. Marcus Lambright, 2.1 steals per game. Michael Tagios, 0.7 blocks per game. Michael Tagios being up there 3 times just shows how versatile he is on the court.
Yeah, obviously, we've been talking about how versatile he is. He's leading in over 10 of their stats this season. But, you know, Coach Lyons has definitely been adding depth to this lineup on the team. But this is going to be a tough one because the Gales have Miles Herbert, who averages 17 points a game. And you have other guys like the John brothers, Sean and Andrew. They're from West Hempstead. They make big blocks and great playmaking. So, and you also have another set of brothers, Finn and John Hastings. And we've talked about their chemistry. And, you know, it definitely creates a big playmaking with Finn being much taller than his older brother, the senior and the sophomore. They just create such good chemistry, and it makes them a great duo.
And now here we have the national anthem.
Firebirds of Kellenberg Memorial and the Gales of St. Mary's. This time we ask that you please rise as we honor America with our national anthem.
And we are off and away, just minutes under tip-off, 6:30 tip-off. You know, Evan, what do you feel about this game? Any possible predictions? Obviously went over the key points, but, you know, what do you think this team really needs to win?
I think this team just needs to forget about their past because they're on a 2-game losing streak right now, as well as St. Mary's. So this is just going to be like which team can battle out of adversity and just focus on this game and get a big W.
Absolutely. Last game for the Firebirds, they had the loss to St. Anthony's as a final score of 43 to 52, as well as the St. Mary's. They are also on a losing streak of 2, and their last loss was against Holy Trinity, 93 to 77. And now we have player intros.
Number 3, Joe Burke. Number 10, John Hastings. Number 4, Luke O'Connor. And number 24, Michael Tagios. The head coach of the Firebirds is Chris Lyons.
All right, and we're up and away as both teams begin to huddle as we're just short amount of time from tip-off as Luke O'Connor will be taking it.
It looks like Michael Tagios is going to be in the starting 5 as he leads the team in points, rebounds, and blocks. Last game against St. Anthony's, he had 19 points as well as 10 rebounds.
Yeah, obviously comparing him to their main scorer, Miles Herbert, and also we have Hank Williams Jr. And, you know, this guy, I was talking to Coach Tricarico about Miles Herbert, you know, averages 17 points a game. You know, he's leading in their points, but all right, now we have tip-off. Luke O'Connor will be taking it against Andrew John.
We got quite a crowd in the stands today.
John stands at 6'4". O'Connor stands at 6'6". As tip-off begins. And Kellenberg gets the ball. Joden Bowling driving all the way up for the layup. He puts it in, banks it off the backboard. Now Noah Patterson passes it off to Herbert. Herbert staying still. Now passes it off. Hank now driving it up to Noah. Passes it. Now over to Monpoint. Picked up by Bolling. Bolling passes it over to Hastings. Hastings makes a quick grab and saves it from going out. Hastings drives. Now brings it over Hastings. Now back to Pinsky. Hastings. Driving it all the way up. And no good for the Firebirds as it hits off the backboard. Now taking it from deep, Noah Patterson puts it in.
Quick start to the game for both teams.
Now John Hastings driving, getting pressured. Trying to look over for Bowling. It's quickly. Get up by Mike Tagios. Tagios starting at the forward. Travel would be called now. Herbert now passes it over to Patterson. Patterson back to Herbert. Herbert passes it to Williams. Williams now drives it all the way up and gets it in off the backboard. Noah Patterson.
Just sliced right through the defense there. Great finish.
Now Burke over to Bolling. Bolling over to Burke. From deep for Burke, and he banks it off.
Bolling was trapped there, and he just worked his way out for that 3.
Herbert now back from Williams. It hits off the glass. Bolling trying to keep it in.
Great effort by Bolling, but his foot just got just outside out of bounds.
All right, now a foul will be called. Never mind, excuse me. It will go out of bounds. Okay, so now Williams will be trying to put it in. Okay, Williams now. Over to Herbert. And they get something out of it there.
Firebird foul number 24.
All right, now a foul now on Tagios to Miles Herbert.
Number 11, Miles Herbert.
So Herbert try to hold their lead. Just get a couple more points as the score is 5-6. And now the shot, and he banks it in off the glass. Now Hastings. Talk about that speed of him as he bobbles it off the transition of Burke. Now Hastings over to Burke. Burke. Now over to Tagios. Back to Burke. Burke looking for anybody open. Balling now. Back to Burke. Burke over to O'Connor. O'Connor, and it's blocked off by Andrew John.
He just tried to fit it in there, but there was no space as St. Mary's had 2 players there to get the ball.
Off over Kellenberg. And now Noah Patterson will be taking it after the pass from Andrew John. Mom point. Over from deep for Williams, and he...
Basket's good.
Basket is good. Other ref.
St. Mary's foul number 40, Andrew
So
John, his first.
there was a foul
Team's first.
on Andrew John. His first foul on the night, and the team's first. So now Burke passing it in. Back from Burke to Hastings now. Hastings to Burke. Now over to O'Connor. Trying to find anybody open. He bobbles it now, quickly picked up by Williams. Williams over to Mom Point, and it hits off the rim. Recovered by Hastings now. Using that lightning speed of his, is now getting pressured by Mom Point. He passes it now over to Burke, now over to Balling. Balling now. Over to O'Connor. O'Connor over to Tagios. Tagios to Hastings. Hastings to Balling. Balling, and it's quickly picked up by Patterson. Patterson will take it all the way up, but blocked by Joden Balling.
This tight defense that St. Mary's has on the Firebirds is definitely causing them to make some mistakes as they're slipping up and turning the ball over.
So Hank Williams will now try to put something in for them. Now he's in John. In the paint, trying to get something out of it, but it's quickly blocked by O'Connor. O'Connor using that height over him with big blocks, even though making some redemption off of his fumbles earlier in the game. He is now about 2 fumbles, not making much cost for the team out of it, but now that will go over from Williams. Over and out of Patterson. Patterson will get it in.
Great find by Noah Patterson.
Okay, now Hastings over to O'Connor. Back to Hastings. To Tagios. Tagios looking for anybody open. Finds Burke. Now taking it to Hastings. Finds O'Connor. O'Connor spinning around, trying to find for anybody open. But that will be a foul.
St. Mary's foul number 1, Justin Mompoint.
Justin Mompoint foul.
Team second.
Now, team second for St. Mary's. Been a little too aggressive. Now taking it in will be John Hastings. Hastings now passes it and quickly intercepted by Mompoint. Patterson will take it all the way up, but not get anything out of it as it's missed and picked up by Hastings. Hastings trying to juke out Patterson. And now over to O'Connor. O'Connor misses the layup, but quickly recovered by him, and he will get that one off the glass. 12-7 now. So we got Miles Herbert over to Patterson. He's just going a little now to Williams. Williams from deep, curving, and it hits off the rim. Now quickly recovered by Balling. Now over to Burke. Burke trying to find anybody open, quickly scoops it back up and taking it all the way up, and no good. Now quickly picked up by Williams. Williams over to Mompoint. Now Patterson. Patterson. And what will be called? All right. Firebird foul for Burke. So we have 2 fouls for both teams, and Burke has 1 on the night.
The speed of St. Mary's is definitely causing Kellenberg to have some mishaps because the outbreaks are causing them to get easy chances for buckets.
Now Williams over to Herbert. Herbert getting pressured by Balling now. Williams from deep, and it hits off the rim, and now recovered by Tagios. Tagios over to O'Connor. O'Connor quickly scoops it up, but he's getting pressured by Mompoint. Now Herbert picks it up and chucks it to White. White passes it over to Williams. From deep for Herbert. No good.
Luke O'Connor has been everywhere on the court because he got his second chance and finished at the rim, and then he was blocking out for the rebound.
Now Williams over to Patterson. Patterson now looking to pass to Herbert. Patterson's getting not much pressure on him now. Passes it over to White. White now over to, and no good now.
There has been some fouls by both teams, including 1 travel by each team, which they can't have happen in a league game like this.
Now Balling in. Now to Hastings. Hastings getting pressured by White. Hastings over to Lambright and passes it back. Tagios. Now over to Lambright. Lambright to O'Connor. O'Connor to Hastings. Fakes it and takes it up for the layup, but it's hit off the glass. Hastings, and it's quickly picked up by Patterson, and he will take it in for the layup off the glass.
Smart play by Patterson there to come from behind him when he wasn't looking.
Now Lambright over to Hastings. Hastings looking for Lambright open, but passes to Tagios over to Balling. Balling staying put and passes it to O'Connor from deep for Luke O'Connor, and it hits off the rim. Quickly picked up by Herbert, and he will take it all the way up, but it hits off the rim.
Foul by Luke O'Connor there. But this defense by St. Mary's is just trapping Kellenberg, not letting them know what to do, and they're just playing tight defense on him.
All right, now Evan White will have 2. The shot. And it hits off the top of the rim.
Number 5, Jordan Porter.
And he will take it, and it's no good for the second one. Evan White now over to Williams from deep, and he swishes in.
St. Mary's expanding their lead here against the Firebirds to make it 10.
Now Lambright over to Hastings. Hastings being guarded by White. Hastings over to Lambright. Lambright over to Balling. Balling inside the paint, takes it all the way up, and it hits off the top of the rim. Now White, 1, and gets it last minute for Miles Herbert.
And that is the end of the first quarter with the score of St. Mary's.
And that will end the quarter. So in the quarter, currently the Gales take the lead 19-7 That's the end of the first.
Talk about
Ladies
these
and
points when they're
gentlemen.
at the line. He has more of it.
We,
Oh,
we have Miles Herbert showing up for the Gales as he continues to play great. He averages 17 points a game, and I clearly think that he could do that this game with the amount. And now we have our upcoming games for the Kellenberg Firebirds.
there are going to be at Knox on January 20th. At Chaminade, a big rivalry game, January 22nd. Then they're going to be home at the Bird's Nest versus St. Dominic, January 27th. Kellenberg is going to play Chaminade twice in their last 9 games. There are going to be some big league games coming up for them.
Yeah, definitely, with Chaminade being pretty high in the state rankings, and we have these two teams pretty much the same. This is a very competitive game, especially when it's not even mid-season. Coach Lyons has definitely improved his ability of, you can't have the best players on one line. You have to have some very versatile shooters on all of the lines, and we've clearly seen that on what he's done here in the beginning of the season. As we will start the second. So currently gonna put it in is Miles Herbert. And as he tosses it over to Patterson. Patterson continues to have it as he throws it over to White. White back to Patterson. Williams now. Throws it over to Herbert. Herbert taking it all the way up. Patterson hits it off the glass for a layup.
There was not much room for error there, so he put the pass in the perfect place for Patterson.
Now, this team has been, not too aggressive. Now from deep for Tagios, and he gets it in!
Number 24, Michael Tagios.
Now taking it up will be Noah Patterson. Patterson looking anybody open, and that will be Caden Elroyd. Now back to Patterson. Patterson passes it over to Herbert. Now from deep.
Both teams starting to find their three-point game in the second quarter.
Now Preston Pinsky dribbling out, trying to get rid of Williams. Pinsky now, back to Tagios. Tagios taking it all the way up, and it will hit off the rim. Quickly recovered by Elroyd, and now picked up by Patterson. Williams driving, and it's quickly intercepted by Kellenberg. And that one goes out of bounds.
Michael Tagios on this season has a 42.9 three-point percentage coming into this game, as we just saw him nail a three-pointer.
All right, now taking it in, the Gales will be Noah Patterson. Now, over to Monpoint. Back to Patterson. Over to Monpoint, and it's quickly picked up by Hastings. Hastings passes it over to Pinsky. Pinsky now back to Hastings. Now over up for Tagios, and he hits it off the top of the rim. Passes it over to Patterson. Patterson throws away to Monpoint. Now from deep for White, and it hits off the rim.
Great hustle by Noah Patterson to get the rebound just from Finn Hastings' hands, showing the type of player he is.
And for the Gales, number 40, Andrew John.
Andrew John now coming in. All right, now taking it in will be Monpoint. Monpoint looking for anybody open. Now passes it over to White. White passes it back to Monpoint. And it's quickly blocked by Finn Hastings, using that height to his advantage.
after getting the ball ripped away from his hands, he made sure to come back and get that block.
Now Evan White will pass it over to Herbert. Now quickly picked up. Now Pinsky over to Tagios. Taj looking for anybody open. Pinsky will get it now. Now Hastings passes it over to Princeton Pinsky. Now from deep! And no good. Tries to save it, Mike Tagios, but cannot.
Tagios thought he had it there, but the ref thought otherwise.
Into the Vipers, number 12, Jordan Bowling.
Jordan Bowling checking in for Princeton Pinsky.
Now taking it will be Patterson. Has great speed and definitely is using that to advantage his game. Now taking it up, Sean.
Kellenberg trying to
Sharkey
break out.
Dribbles out, Mom Point, passes it over to Burke from deep and hits off the rim. Now taking it all the way up will be Patterson and puts it in for will be Herbert. Balling, getting double team. Now passes it over to Hastings. Hastings over to Joe. Now over to Balling. Balling bobbles it now from deep from Tagios. And it spins out but quickly recovered by Hastings. That will be a foul.
St. Mary's foul on number 0, Evan White.
Foul by Evan White. Even though it's a foul, I feel like he was playing good defense. It's just that tall Finn Hastings was too much for him.
All right. Finn Hastings will take a shot. And the first one is good.
As we talked about, Kellenberg can't be taking fouls. That goes for St. Mary's too. Kellenberg should be able to take these free points to to make this game closer.
Finn Hastings with a 53.8 free throw percentage. And that one is good, but now that ball will go out. Balling's down, but he quickly gets up, and it will be now a Kellenberg ball as Balling will try to get anybody open, more scoring opportunities for them. Now Balling passes it over to Tagios. Tagios now in the paint, and he takes it in, banks it off the glass, and a timeout will be called.
Great move by Tagios there, going in and creating space for himself to get the two-pointer from inside the paint.
Yeah, Tagios, as we said earlier, is a very versatile shooter. And speaking of shooting, Evan, do you want to go over the chart?
Inside the paint, from 3 out of 4 spots, they're over 50%, showing that that is definitely their strength. And also from the corner 3, they are 46%. Kellenberg should be trying to look for shots from there, as they know it's their strengths.
Yeah, definitely. That seems to be their hot spot, just inside the paint. They haven't been doing too good from just outside the paint on the left side, but if they can just keep shooting there, avoiding, take a little step back, and get it in off the board, I think they'll do fine. Also,
from stats, they also, as they progress from the game, their scoring starts to become hot.
All right, now Patterson will take it in as usual. Mom Point over to Patterson, over to Williams. Now from deep for Patterson, and he hits it off the top of the rim. Quickly recovered by John, and it's now gone by Kellenberg. John Hastings getting pressured by Mom Point, passes it over to Sharkey. Sharkey passes it over to the Hastings brother, and he gets it in. That definitely seems to be an improvement, and it's quickly picked up by Sharkey. Sharkey taking it up, and he misses the layup, but it's quickly picked up by Balling. Balling passes it over to Hastings, and he hits it off the glass.
Great hustle by the whole Kellenberg team to make sure they get these extra 2 points to minimize the gap between them and St. Mary's.
Definitely a very clutch play by Hastings. And now he will take a couple shots, to get them some more advantage points. And, they could easily, with plenty of time left, tie this game or even take the lead here in the second. Now the shot from Hastings. And it's missed. Now quickly picked up. Mom Point has it now. Passes it over to Herbert. Running zone right now for Balling. And Williams will take it from deep, and it will hit off the top. Passes it high, and now the brotherly connection, and Finn passes it to John, passes it to Tagios, and he gets it in off the board.
Great playmaking, just like we talked about in those key points.
Mom Point passes it over to Herbert. Looking for anybody open on Mom Point. Now passes to Patterson. Patterson over now, deep from Williams. And he falls down. Doesn't go in, spins out.
Kellenberg foul on number 11, Griffin Sharkey.
But a foul. Griffin Sharkey's first foul.
At the line shooting.
The team is starting to play together as a whole, just like Coach Lyons said in the pregame that they need to work together.
All right. I think Williams now will hit his first shot. And his second shot is hit. He has 4 free throws made this season, as he made his third just now. And Tagios now will pass it over to Sharkey. Back to Tagios. Over to Hastings. Sharkey to Hastings. Tagios driving inside of the paint. Gets it in the hot spot.
Great finish with a hand in his face.
Patterson taking up as usual over to Mom Point. Herbert getting pressured by Balling. Herbert, and it's quickly tipped off.
Goes out of bounds, but shows the Firebirds' hustle in this game.
And now Hank Williams will try to put something in with the easy scoring opportunity, but this Firebird defense has shown no mercy. Now Patterson will be guarded by Balling. Balling passes it. Patterson passes it over to Mom Point. Balling still pressuring. And now Herbert will take it all the way up. And he will hit it off the backboard. And now Balling will take it.
We've seen Finn Hastings all over the court getting 2 rebounds late in this quarter, and also those 2 points off the key turnover by Sharkey.
Now Hastings will take it in. And he will put it up for Tagios. Hits it off and one.
Tagios starting to get red hot in this game, and that might be a problem for St. Mary's.
Now Tagios will take some and easy scoring opportunities with still plenty of time left here in the second. Now Tagios with his first. And it's good. First and only, made it count. Patterson now passes it off to Herbert. Herbert looking for anybody open, passes it over to Mom Point. Mom Point over to Williams. Herbert passes to Patterson. Patterson, it's deflected off of Balling. Great. And he tips it off, Jordan Balling. And now taking it in will be Williams. Williams passes it over to Herbert. Herbert over to Patterson. Patterson to Williams, and it's quickly picked up by Tagios. Tagios now over to Hastings. Hastings, and it hits off the board. Now the other Hastings brother, Finn. Jump ball. Now, Finn Hastings seems a little upset.
Seems to disagree with the ref, but it's the final call.
This will be a jump ball, and John Hastings will have it. John Hastings looking for anybody open, and it's thrown away to Sharkey. Sharkey using that big body, not letting anybody get in front of him. And he's not very heavy on getting the ball stolen from him. And he passes it over to Joden. Balling now over to Hastings from deep. Whoop. And Finn Hastings knocks into Joden Balling.
Hastings happy about that call, getting him pumped up.
St. Mary's foul number 1, Justin Montpoint, his second, team's fourth.
Coach Tricarico thinks that was a backcourt violation by Sharkey, but the ref seems to think otherwise.
Yeah, we got a little friendly fire earlier. We had Balling running into Hastings. Now Hastings passes it over the head for Sharkey. Sharkey over to Tagios. Tagios over to Hastings. Hastings over to Tagios. Tagios looking, and it's blocked.
Kellenberg foul number 15, Finn Hastings, his second,
Finn Hastings
team's third.
foul, and the team's third on the night on Finn Hastings. You know, Finn Hastings definitely brings the most energy to the team. Evan?
Yeah, especially playing with his brother. Maybe the chemistry there has brought to the whole Firebirds team to see that playmaking really happen.
Timeout.
Patterson, and it will be called timeout by Coach Carrico. And they definitely needed that one after scoring, a lot of points this quarter, and you got a big, you got 6.8 seconds left. What do you think they can do in this 6.8 seconds? Probably not much, but if they can really pull something off, if they can, get close to tying this thing up, I really think Kellenberg has a good opportunities to take the lead or tie it. One or the other's great. This is definitely a battle. It's no blowout for sure. And I think Kellenberg can, definitely, if they improve, I think that this can be a great rest of the game.
Yeah, Coach Tricarico trying to get an extra 2 or 3 before going into half, just to have that much of an advantage going into the half, knowing that they are not in need of points.
All right, now taking it in will be Patterson for the Gales. This is it. Over to Herbert. Herbert getting pressured by Balling, and he fouls him.
A reach and foul by Balling.
Should have 2 points.
12, Jody Bowling, his first, team fourth.
So 14 foul for the Firebirds. Patterson in now to Herbert, and it will hit off the backboard.
That will wrap up the half with a score of 29-24 with St. Mary's leading. Michael Tagios keeps on his streak of scoring after scoring 19 points in their game against St. Anthony's. Michael Tagios is definitely going to try to stay red hot so the Firebirds can come back in this game. And also, they definitely limited the free throws as part of our key points. The Gales had few free throws during that half, which definitely allowed the Firebirds to come back in the second quarter, and we will have halftime now.
by John. Now from deep for Mom Point, and it hits off the board.
Tagios tried to get it there, but it just went out of bounds, out of reach from him.
Right now will be a St. Mary's ball. Now Patterson will put it in to Herbert. Now over to Mom Point. Herbert inside the paint from deep for Williams. And it hits off the top of the rim, bounces high, and Balling will. He's driving all the way up inside the paint. A little quick shot, and Joden Bowling.
Great finish and dribbles by him there.
Mom Point now passes it over to Patterson. Back to Mom Point. Mom Point from inside.
They didn't have tight enough defense there. They just found an opening right where no defenders were.
Tagios over to Hastings now. He's standing still, getting pressured by Patterson. Over to Tagios. Now passes it over to Burke. Luke O'Connor. Now from deep for O'Connor. Hits off the rim. Now Williams will take it in the paint. Short shot. Hit off the rim. Passed.
Gonna be St. Mary's ball after Patterson got pushed out of bounds. Finn Hastings is getting subbed in for Luke O'Connor.
Okay, now will be St. Mary's ball, and Patterson will take it in as usual. Looking for anybody open. Mom Point juking him off, but it will pass over to Williams now. Inside, and it will be Patterson. Finn Hastings over to his brother John. Over to Bowling. Bowling juking out Patterson. Bowling passes it over to Hastings. Hastings over to Tagios. Tagios driving up in the paint, and it hits off the rim.
Great play by Tagios there.
Foul.
Tagios there with that hustle. He ripped the ball away from the St. Mary's player. That play was all from the passing and playmaking there. They set up the guy, but Kellenberg does seem to be forcing some shots, which is not good for them right now.
So Tagios, he led the team with 19 points against their St. Anthony's game not too long ago, their last game.
Evan White subbing in for Andrew John.
43 to 52, and makes his first one, and now Tagios will go for the second. And he swishes that one, tacking on extra easy points, and that's what they need. Patterson now will take it in from, now passing it over to Mom Point. Back to Mom Point from Patterson, over to Patterson, driving in the paint, fumbles it now over to Williams. Williams passes it back to Patterson. Mom Point from deep, hits off the glass. Finn Hastings will take it. He will pass it over his brother, John Hastings. John now, looking for anybody open, and that is Mike Tagios, and that will be out. All right, so now it will be Kellenberg ball, and Joseph Burke now will be trying to put it in for Kellenberg. Now he tosses it way over John Hastings' head, but he has it. Mom Point's pressuring, and it's picked up by Bowling, and he scoops it up after the missed layup, and Williams will have it. And all the coaches on the missed call.
Coach Line seems to be upset, thinking that that was a backcourt violation by the Gales, but the refs aren't going to give him that one.
All three coaches stood up, and now Miles Herbert will take a free throw. He averages 17 points a game. The kid from Baldwin stands at 6'0", and the first shot, and it's in. Now Miles will take his second shot. The guard, number 11. Class of 2026, as he makes that one in. So now it's 40 to 28. Now Hastings over to Burke. Burke dribbling over to Tagios. Tagios back to Hastings inside the paint, driving, almost blocked by Monpoint, but it's called a foul.
Tagios is starting.
And
is
one.
Tagios is keeping up his hot streak here as an and one, and has a chance for 3 points to keep Kellenberg in this game as the lead is starting to get a little out of hand, going into double digits.
Now John Hastings, the senior, and he will get that one.
Gales number 30, Caden Elrod.
And John, and now it's 40-31 as Patterson will pass it over to Williams. Back to Williams, and he will pass it over to Herbert. Herbert driving in the paint, but pass to White, and it hits off the rim. Now quickly picked up by Bowling. Bowling driving all the way up in the paint, and it is no good. Now rebounded by Tagios, and he gets it in.
Great play by Bowling, using that speed to get down the court quickly, and the rebounding by the Firebirds to get Tagios that and one. Back-to-back and ones could really help the Firebirds here.
We'll take the one and the shot, and it's good. Now Williams will pass it over to Patterson. Patterson, for anybody open, passes it over to Williams. Williams passes it in. And it's good for Miles Herbert. Now John Hastings looking to take it for three, but passes it to Tagios, and now it's quickly scooped up, and it's got him by Bowling. Now from deep for Tagios. No good. Hits off the rim. Now it will be a St. Mary's ball as Williams will take it in for them and pass it over to Patterson.
Finn Hastings has been really effective for those rebounds, using his height to get his hand on the ball.
Now Williams getting guarded by Burke. Now from deep, hits it off the top of the rim. Quickly scooped up. Now Evan White hits it off, and it will be a foul.
John Hastings called with the foul. They had three guys on him. I don't know if that foul was necessary, but St. Mary's are going to get 2 free throws with Evan White at the line.
So John Hastings with 2 fouls, the team's third on the night. So now 40-34, and the first shot is good for Evan White, the guard. The sophomore standing at 5'11" now will take his second shot. Now the shot, and it's good. 2 for 2 now. And now Tagios passes it over to Burke. Now over to Hastings. Hastings, his brother. Over to Burke. Now back to Hastings. And over to Bowling. Bowling passes it to John Hastings. Now Burke looking for anybody, and it is Hastings. Hastings passes it to Finn Hastings. Finn Hastings looking for anything, but it's a foul.
One ref called a foul, but another ref was about to call a jump ball.
So now it will be a Kellenberg ball.
John Hastings gonna inbound the ball.
So John Hastings looking for anybody open. Inbounds it to Tagios. Tagios getting pressured, and it hits off the backboard, and it's called a foul.
Foul on Jordan Bowling.
Coach Carrico, mad with Evan White. He's being a little too aggressive this game. Now Patterson going down it from Herbert. Patterson standing still, getting guarded by Jordan Bowling. Over to Miles Herbert now. Over to Williams. Williams driving in the paint, getting guarded up, but he still gets it in.
Great finish by Williams while having Jordan Bowling all over him.
Bowling now over to Hastings. Hastings over to Tagios. Tagios now over to Hastings. Hastings looking for anybody open now. Bowling from deep, and it hits off the rim. Now it's deflected off of Patterson, I believe.
Finn Hastings showing some discomfort, but he seems to be okay.
So now,
Seems to be Kellenberg's ball.
Jordan Bolin will inbound it for Kellenberg, and that will quickly be scooped up by Hastings. Hastings over to Tagios. Tagios over to Sharkey. Sharkey looking for Hastings. Hastings back to Sharkey. Sharkey passes it over to Hastings again, and he throws it up for his younger brother. And it will be called a foul.
That chemistry there between those two brothers, definitely John Hastings knew his brother's height advantage and threw it up for him, knowing he could come down with it.
All right, now, Finn Hastings, he will take free throw. And the first one is spinning high, and it's good.
Finn Hastings' free throw percentage is 53.8, showing he is good at the free throw line and would be huge for Kellenberg to get these 2 points here.
And the second shot, spinning high, and it's in. Swishes it for Finn Hastings, and that tacks on another one.
Timeout called.
Timeout.
Timeout called by Chris Lyons here. He wants to make sure that his players are rested after getting those 2 huge points. And the lead is now back down to single digits, for the Gales.
All right, so we have 1 minute and 50 seconds left. What do you think the Firebirds need most to, come back from this? Not too much. I think it's definitely doable. They came back from multiple wins, and they've had a lot of comebacks. We saw a couple games ago, Luke O'Connor had that game-winning buzzer beater. How do you think they can come back?
I think they need to primarily focus on their defense, because their defense, the Gales have just been finding holes in it to get these wide open shots, which is not good for the Firebirds, especially trailing by 8.
Yeah, the Gales, they have a hard upcoming schedule facing teams like Chaminade, who is currently high-ranked in the New York State. And, it's going to be hard, but if they can beat Kellenberg, Kellenberg's a great team. It's a very diverse team of great shooters. They have a lot of tall guys. And, yeah, so let's see what they can do with 1 minute and 50 seconds left. The score of 44-36.
Yeah, if the Firebirds could get a big win here going into their next game at Knox, that could potentially lead them to getting on a hot streak, and that'd be really good to get on for the second half of the season.
Patterson over to White. Patterson dribbling now from deep, and it will be blocked. Now Finn Hastings will be on the ground over to Griffin Sharkey, but now John Hastings will have it, passes it to his brother, and now Tagios with the layup.
Tagios is definitely their primary scorer for the Firebirds, and that is definitely helping them huge in this game.
Pass it over now. Patterson has it. Patterson driving now, passes to Williams. Williams from deep, bouncing it high. And no good.
The Kellenberg's playing tighter defense here, which is really good for them, as they could maybe stop the Gales scoring and try to come back from this deficit.
So now Bowling will unbound it to John Hastings. John Hastings running it all the way to Tagios. Over to Finn Hastings. Over to Jordan Bowling. Now Tagios has it. He's in the paint. He's driving. Uses that big body to get another one. Another layup.
Down by 4.
Tagios.
Down by
now
4.
Patterson in the paint. Takes a little shot. And no good. Now Hastings will have it. Hastings passes it over to Tagios. And another one. Keeps stacking them on.
down by 4, closely creeping in on the Gales, and 28 seconds left in this quarter. Maybe they could get these 2 free throws and try to tie it up.
So now Tagios will be taking 2 free throws. Tagios clearly leading in points this game, and he will get the first one. So now the second shot for Tagios, and it's good. 2 for 2 on that one. So now White will constantly pass it back, and it's picked up by Bowling. Bowling all the way up, and it's good! We got a tie game here in Uniondale. Now Patterson will kick it away, and it's out of bounds.
That is exactly what the Firebirds needed, some momentum, and maybe they could capitalize on this and take the lead going into the 4th quarter, which many thought was not possible.
This crowd is just unexplainable. Now we have Hastings, and it will be quickly picked up. Oh, and he will trip Sean John, and now will be picked up by Finn Hastings. No good. Oh my goodness, what a quarter for the Firebirds.
Coming back down from a double-digit lead in the 3rd quarter is just the type of adversity you need to have, and they battled through it. And now we have a tie game going into the 4th quarter. Man, we got a thriller here.
Yeah, you obviously saw all the coaches getting mad with those backcourts. I think there were 2 backcourts that should have been called by the refs. But now it doesn't matter because we have a tie game. We got 30 seconds left till we start the 4th. But we have a tie game here at 44-44 here at Kellenberg Memorial in Uniondale. This has just been such a fun game to watch. And yeah, any more thoughts on that, Evan?
The crowd is really into it. This playing in the Bird's Nest is definitely contributing to the Firebirds' momentum because they got so hyped and the crowd erupted when they tied the game late in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, with that Bowling pickup after it was deflected and kind of booted off of Sean John. That was just a very exciting moment for the Firebirds. The small forward Sean John from West Hempstead, he booted it off of his foot. It went out of bounds. Then you had that Bowling inbound play, and then you had a bunch of miscommunication errors, kind of with and then you have a couple of easy deflections that could easily be picked up by the Hastings brothers and Joden Bowling.
Yeah, it shows that the Firebirds definitely progressed throughout the game, and they're definitely on a hot streak right now with a tied game going to the 4th.
And now Bowling will inbound it to Lambright. Lambright over to Sharkey. Sharkey passes it back over to Lambright. Lambright passes it to Tagios. Tagios over to Hastings, backs it in! Shoots it from behind his back and banks it in.
What a play by Tagios there.
Now Mom Point. And it will be a foul on Finn Hastings.
What a play by Tagios there to find Finn Hastings cutting to the basket to give the Firebirds the lead.
And now inbounding it will be Miles Herbert over to Mom Point. Mom Point over to Williams. Williams over to Herbert. Mom Point over to Williams. From deep now for Williams, and he gets it in! A deep 3 for Hank Williams. Lambright dribbling around, dancing all over Mom Point. And passes it over to Sharkey. Sharkey passes it over, and it will be called a foul.
Foul by the Gales on
Mike Tagios.
Noah Patterson with the foul there, and now the Firebirds, Joden Bowling is going to inbound the ball.
Bowling now now Lambright was open for a second, but couldn't quite get it in. Now Tagios in the paint. Throws it over to Sharkey from deep for Sharkey, and it hits to the top of the rim. And now Williams will pass it over from deep for Herbert, and it will be quickly scooped up by Hastings and gotten over to Ballin. Now over to Sharkey. Lambright, and it's good!
Lambright faked him out there to get him wide open for the 2, and they have a 1-point lead against the Gales.
Now Patterson in the paint, and it will be a foul.
Lambright trying to pickpocket him from behind, but he gets his arm there, and it is a foul.
So Marcus Lambright's first, and team's second.
Kellenberg needs to ride off this momentum with the crowd into it and try to further this lead against the Gales so they can't come back.
So now Patterson will inbound it. He will get it over to Williams. Williams now, a deep 3, and it's off the rim. Now picked up by Bowling. Bowling using that speed over to Hastings. Hastings, and it's no good. Hits off the rim, and it will be a foul. Quickly, Jordan Bowling goes to the ground.
His third foul of the game. Gotta be careful here. Want to keep him in for the late minutes of this game.
Yeah, so we have 5:57 to go. Up by 1 for the Firebirds. And now Patterson will inbound it over to Herbert.
John Hastings was subbed in for Griffin Sharkey.
Herbert over to Mompoint. Mompoint. And now it's over to John, and he will get it in for the layup. Bowling. Now over to Hastings. Back to Bowling. Bowling driving all the way up in the paint, and it's quickly blocked off. Herbert gets it all the way in the paint, and he backhandles it, and it's in.
What a finish. What a finish by the Gales there.
Now Tagios has it. He pump fakes, and it's in. This game is like ping pong. With only down by 1, it's quickly intercepted by Tagios. Bowling passes it. Lambright from 3, and it's good! Electric! Here in Uniondale.
Timeout by the Gales, and the crowd has erupted after that 3 by Lambright. What a shot!
That was the most electrifying moment of Marcus Lambright this game. It was crazy. The crowd was so into it. Everybody is on, this whole team's on fire. The crowd is pumped up. All of those times that the coaches get mad, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They are winning, and, they've just been battling this whole game. Games like ping pong, it's just back and forth. We've been seeing that here in the late stages with 5 minutes to go. Evan, any thoughts?
Yeah, that was an incredible 3. Lambright hasn't been getting too many minutes this game, but when he got into this game, he made sure to make it count, as he had a couple fouls to begin his time, but then he comes up with a clutch 3 to give the Firebirds lead with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that was just so exciting to watch. So we have 3 fouls for the Firebirds, 1 foul on the Gales, and they really needed, the Gales really need this timeout to use to their advantage. They just got to calm down. They're only down by 2. They just need a simple layup. You got big guys like Andrew John who can definitely use their body to their advantage. And, this has just been such a great comeback by the Firebirds. As you were saying, we keep re-emphasizing it. And, it's happened. They can end their losing streak right here.
Lambright has a 34.5 3-point percentage, and that definitely proves why he has that.
So they inbound it, and it was quickly picked up by the Firebirds as Hastings has it. Hastings getting pressured by Patterson. Hastings passes it over his brother Finn to Marcus. Lambright now over to Tagios. Over to Finn Hastings. Over to John Hastings. Lambright now from deep. And it hits off the rim. Quickly picked up by Patterson. Over to Monpoint. Monpoint over to Patterson. Back to Williams. Williams, their main three-point shooter. If they can get one from him, this could be big for the Gales. And now Monpoint. Now over to Herbert. Herbert inside the paint, and he can't quite get it. And Lambright has it.
Great hustle play by Lambright there to jump on the ball.
So it'll be a jump ball after Lambright was on the ground. Good, just keeping possession. It was definitely a very difficult spot for the Gales there, as you had Williams open, a clear three-point shooter, and now inbounding it will be Williams. Now from deep for Williams, and it will be good. Hank Williams will get the Gales the lead. That's exactly what they needed. Now Marcus Lambright. And
John Hastings pushed it out of bounds, and now the Gales get the ball back, trying to further their lead.
so now inbounding it will be Patterson. Now over to Herbert. Back to Patterson, back to Herbert. Herbert passes over to Williams. Patterson driving all the way up in the paint. Now from deep for Herbert. And no good. Picked up by Finn Hastings. And it will be a foul.
Foul by Andrew John.
His third, team second.
So now Finn Hastings will inbound the ball. Over to Joden Bowling. Bowling over to John Hastings. Fires it onto Tajios. Over to Hastings. Over to Bowling. Bowling in the paint. Now the shot, and it's good!
Great fadeaway by Joden Bowling to give them a 1-point lead.
Now Williams has it, so 55-54 now. Little jumper and no good. Now John Hastings will have it, and it will be quickly picked up by Marcus Lambright. Lambright getting pressured by Herbert. Passes it over to Tajios. Tajios over to Lambright. Lambright in the paint, fires it over from deep, and it's no good for Hastings. So it will be a foul. Now,
St. Mary's foul number 40, Andrew John, his fourth.
so Andrew John's fourth foul.
He's got to be careful here as his fouls are getting up.
Yeah, definitely. They don't want him gone from the game because he has a big body, and that's what's been, helping them. Oh, and almost gets the layup for Mike Tajios.
Tajios draws the foul. His free throw percentage is 65.5. 2 points from him would be huge here to make a 3-point lead.
So now Tajios takes the shot, and it's good. So now 56-54 as he will take his second shot. Tajios the second, and it's hit off the rim. Patterson looking for anybody open, now driving in the paint, deflected off, and now John Hastings has it. Passes it over to Tajios. Flips it to Lambright. Over to Hastings. Hastings over to Finn Hastings. Over to Tajios. Over to Bowling from deep. It's off the top of the rim. And now Williams will take it, and he's getting pressured by Bowling. And he will pass it over to White. White over to Williams. Over to Herbert. Timeout call by Paul Tricarico. So we got 30 seconds for the timeout and a minute 58 remaining here with a score of 56-54. The Firebirds lead. Evan, any notes on anything? How can the Firebirds uphold this lead with a very aggressive St. Mary's team? We got plenty of time left. Obviously, anything could happen, but anything you want to add?
I think the Gales are going to use their three-point shooters. Hank Williams, Mon Point, Patterson. They're going to try to use them to get the lead here. But the Firebirds definitely just need to be tight on defense and make sure they do not do any unnecessary fouls that could be costly.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what they need. They need obviously to not play too aggressive, but this St. Mary's team, they definitely have some lethal shooters like Hank Williams, and if they can give them the ball, this game could be changed in just a couple seconds. So now Patterson, the inbound from Williams. Patterson getting pressured by Lambright. And he takes it all the way up, and it's good. A layup for Patterson. 56-56, we have a tie game here. John Hastings over to Marcus. Lambright getting pressured by White. Over to Tagios. Tagios over to Marcus Lambright. Lambright trying to get it over to Tagios, but it's quickly scooped up by Miles Herbert. Over to Patterson. Patterson getting pressured by Bowling, and he gets knocked down.
What a move by Patterson there.
All right, now. So now timeout call by Chris Lyons for the Firebirds, and the score will be 56-58. Gales take the lead here with exactly 1 minute remaining here in the fourth.
Patterson definitely is putting his team on his back as of now, and he got some 2 clutch buckets there to give them a 2-point lead with exactly a minute left in the fourth quarter. The Firebirds are gonna need to lock down on defense and get some points here to keep it a tie game.
Yeah, I say even get some new fresh guys. I mean, it can. You have Lambright. He hasn't gotten too much PT today, but I mean, if you have O'Connor in, he can easily get some big blocks. Tallest guy on the team standing at 6'6", and I mean, Tagios has played basically the whole game, so if they keep him on and Lambright on, I think they'll do just fine. Maybe one more big guy would be just great. Definitely not, they don't need any fresh guys, but with only a minute left, it doesn't matter much. But yeah, I think this has been a battle, and right now they will have, starting will be John Hastings, Joden Bowling, Finn Hastings, Tagios, and Lambright, and that's how Coach Lyons will keep it.
The unsung hero here is also Finn Hastings, winning those rebounds that are key to getting those second opportunities for points.
Now Tagios will inbound it to John Hastings, over to Lambright, back to John Hastings. John Hastings looking for anybody open, finds his brother. Now from deep for Bowling! And it hits off the rim, now quickly picked up by Tagios. Tagios tries to put it up. So a foul will be called.
Free throws coming up for Tagios to make this a tie game.
If he can, there's still 40 seconds left. We got time. Even if he doesn't make all of them, it's still an open scoring opportunity. And
yeah, it's showing how fouls could be costly in games like these, especially late in these games, because now the Firebirds have a chance to tie it up.
So what do you think Coach Lyons is talking about now as there's a timeout? What do you think, what do you think they need right now? What level, they need a huge level of encouragement, even though they're only down by 2. But, we were talking with him earlier before the game, and, we asked him some questions, and, even with a losing record, these guys show great confidence, and, the playmaking is just great with dynamic duos of Finn and John, and lots of chemistry throughout the team. And the first shot for Tagios, and it's good. So now 58-57, Firebirds trail by 1.
I feel like Coach Lyons was talking about just to try to get this rebound if he misses here and make sure you box out and hustle.
And it's good, and we have a tie game here with 40 seconds remaining. Now inbounding Herbert over to Williams. Williams flips it over to Patterson. Looking for anybody open.
Timeout called by Coach Tricarico here to discuss over their strategy to get a couple points here to take the lead.
Yeah, that was a great job, just wasting time. So if they have the ball, just score the points, game over. That's it. All right, so we have 27 seconds left.
Shot clock has 22, so if they do have it here, the Firebirds will have at least 5 seconds to either tie up the game or take the lead. So 5 seconds still could be a great amount of time for the Firebirds to get up the court and get a shot off to maybe win the game.
Yeah, I love this lineup that Coach Lyons has going. A dynamic shooting. They have speed by John Hastings. They got shooting from Tajios. They got height from Finn Hastings. So it's just a great mix, a very dynamic lineup and roster that he has going, Coach Lyons. And you got just dominance showing from Joden Bowling, shooting, speed, everything that a basketball player needs.
Yeah, we have seen Marcus Lambright to get more minutes because Coach Lyons know how clutch he is and how he can perform under this pressure in late games, especially close ones.
Especially in these scenarios, this is where he performs best. Now Patterson, they have to play lockdown defense. They cannot let them score with only 10 seconds left, and that is clearly what they're doing. And I think Coach Lyons has the right defense going for the Firebirds. Now Herbert over to Patterson from deep, and it's hit off the rim. Now Williams has it, and it goes out of bounds. So now we got 3.7 seconds left.
Another timeout called by Coach Tricarico to figure out what they're going to do with these 3.7 seconds left, but they're definitely going to want to make sure that they could try to get enough space to take a shot before the time runs out.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a pass and shoot opportunity for the Gales of St. Mary's. So we definitely got a great, just pass and shoot opportunity. That's all these Gales need. And if we can end up going overtime, it's going to be something else. All right, so we have that timeout called by Coach Carrico. They're definitely using the whiteboard, so they're running some type of play that they're making. So it's definitely going to be cool to see what he can make with his guys. And he's got some speed, he's got height, he's got big body, he's got everything a team would need, especially at this level of playing.
Yeah, Coach Carrico is definitely making up some sort of play for Williams or Monpoint or Patterson. He's definitely going to try to get his star players to get the ball here for the final shot in this game.
All right, so we have we're going to stick with, Coach Lyons is going to stick with the same line. Coach Carrico is also going to stay with the same line. He is going to put in Monpoint though. So just in Monpoint, he's a senior, so definitely a veteran player. And Monpoint will inbound it to Williams now, deflected, and from deep end, we're going to overtime.
What a block by the Firebirds on Hank Williams, and we are
going to overtime. So we got an OT game. You don't see this a lot, especially with the Firebirds. It's either a blowout or, pretty close game, but I haven't seen a lot of games that have gone to OT lately for the Firebirds, so this is definitely a very exciting moment, and if they can really come up with something big here, I think it's going to be awesome to watch. I think, Coach Lyons or Coach, and it's just going to be great to see Coach Carrico. They might mix up some of it. They want to give their guys a break because they got a little more time now. That game's over. We got OT now, so it's going to be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, the Firebirds had a game winner, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully the Firebirds could use some of that late magic to pull out a win against a tough St. Mary's team who has proven that their offense is one of the best in this division.
Yeah, Luke O'Connor with that buzzer beater not too long ago in December against Valley Central High School, and that was just a great game. It was back and forth, and Luke O'Connor would end up winning it for them in the end. So Coach Lyons is going to stick with the same exact line, and it looks like Coach Carrico is going to put on a couple new guys, or he's going to put on now Evan White, and he's going to stick with a similar lineup, and he's going to keep on Mompoint, Williams, and the rest of his guys.
Yeah, there's going to be 4 minutes in this overtime, and not too much time, but there's definitely enough time to get the points up again.
All right, so now Mike Tagios will be taking the tip-off here. We are in OT, and Miles Herbert will be taking it for the Gales. Now, it's quickly picked up. Williams will take it all the way for the layup. Banks it off the backboard. So now Lambright. He's dribbling out Patterson. Lambright using his speed effectively. Now passes it over to John Hastings. John Hastings over to Lambright. Lambright trying to find anybody open. Dribbles it. Passes it over to Bowling. That's going to be called a foul.
Foul on Patterson here. And
we got a very interesting game. They can't afford as much fouls, but they still have 4 minutes. So I think both teams are pretty good. So now we have Jordan Bowling taking the free throws. And the first shot is made. Jordan Bowling, he has a 47.12 field goal percentage. So now the second shot from Bowling. And it's good. So we got a tie game after Jordan Bowling shows up. And now Mompoint inbounds it over to Herbert. So now Mompoint has it. Mompoint back over to Herbert. Now over to Williams. Over to Mompoint. Mompoint back from Patterson. Patterson driving all the way up. Jumps in the air, and it's a layup off the board.
He had some jelly on that layup, and that was a great finish by him.
All right, so now Jordan Bowling will take it. It's getting heavily guarded by Williams, and Tagios will take it.
Jump ball here. Great defense by the Gales, even though it's still going to remain with Kellenberg, and John Hastings is going to inbound the ball with a timeout called.
So now we got a timeout. As we've definitely been emphasizing this timeouts, but what do you think now? It's overtime, so it's not like it's late in the game. They still have 2 minutes and 48 seconds. So what do you think Coach Lyons needs to do to talk? Or what do you think he's going to talk about in this timeout? It's a very crucial one too.
Try to make the extra pass. Like, if you have a kind of a shot, try to go for the extra pass for a guy wide open in the corner or someone cutting to the net. Like, you want to try to make sure you could get some easy points instead of trying to force it. So you got to try to make sure you got to get points on this possession.
Yeah, I definitely say don't risk it with Lambright, because Lambright can shoot and so can Bowling. Everybody can shoot on this team. Tagios, everybody's a great shooter. I'd say their best three chances are definitely with Tagios, Lambright, and Bowling. They got some great shooting. They got speed. They got, great team. both offensively and defensively. And now Taggio pulling down the ball over to Lambright. So Lambright using that speed to his advantage, and Lambright is gonna dribble and pass it over to Bowling. Bowling just from outside the paint, and it's no good. Picked up by Herbert.
He had a hand in his face. That was a very tough shot to make there.
Now Williams. Williams passes it over to Herbert. Herbert takes it around, and it's off the backboard, no good. And now Finn Hastings will have it.
Finn Hastings with the rebound, and Coach Tricarico upset with the call, but it's going to be the Firebirds' ball.
Okay, so a timeout will be called, and that was definitely needed, especially 2 minutes, 16 seconds, not much. You know, these timeouts have been very crucial, and it's definitely shown. They've been very useful for both coaches, but Coach Tricarico definitely was not as excited with that call with Finn Hastings. Everybody was just diving for that ball like you see on football sometimes, but, you know, we got 62 to 60, down by 2. That's it.
That was a very smart timeout by Coach Ryan there, because Finn Hastings was not in a position that he'd want to be, and that could have easily been a jump ball, which the Gales have in their favor.
So we have 5 fouls for the Gales and 3 fouls for the Firebirds.
Yeah, Coach Lyons is going over their game plan to make sure they could get some points here, especially down by 2. You do not want to be trailing down for very long against a good St. Mary's squad.
So now we have some substitutions being made. So we obviously are keeping Tagios, we're keeping Bowling, we're keeping Hastings, we're keeping John and Finn, but we are swapping out Lambright with the center, Luke O'Connor. O'Connor plays center and forward. You know, he's a big guy. I feel like that's what they need, especially with rebounds. So, yeah, any scoring opportunities they can get, definitely very open.
The Gales have a full court press right now, not wanting them to inbound the ball, but they get it to Jordan Bowling.
So Bowling gets it inbounded from Tagios. Now Hastings has it. Over to Bowling. Over to O'Connor. O'Connor. And it's going to be a travel for Luke O'Connor. You know, those simple mistakes can lead to, you know, very big decisions. Like, could he have just passed it a little earlier? That it wouldn't have made that big of a difference.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
you know, St. Mary's can't get a lot of possession with the ball. They can't let that happen because they have some very lethal shooters, because they are keeping on. Hank Williams on the court, which is doing great.
Great.
That ball will go out on St. Mary's. So we will have a Kellenberg ball getting inbounded by
Great.
Finn Hastings.
Great defense there, as it just went off the fingertips of the St. Mary's player.
So we have Jordan Bowling, passes it over to Finn Hastings, over to Tagios. Now, Finn Hastings with the layup. We got a tie game here with 1:28 left.
What a pass to Finn Hastings, and the pump fake by him to catch the defender off guard.
That's what I'm saying, this playmaking that Coach Lyons has been talking about. Now from deep for Williams, and it will spin around, but no good, and he keeps it in. Patterson now picked up by Hastings. And it will be called a travel on Finn Hastings.
Great hustle by Finn Hastings, but he just couldn't get that dribble down, and his feet kept moving. And
yeah, I mean, it was a great rebound. It's definitely better than a Williams three-pointer.
Yeah.
As we've been saying, he's taken a lot. He's a lethal shooter, but he's not the most consistent always. But his shots are definitely effective a lot of the times in big moments like these. But he just couldn't get that one in. It spun out. And now Mom Point will from deep for Williams, and it's off. And Hastings will get the rebound again over to Bowling. Bowling driving all the way up in the paint. And it's no good. Now quickly picked up by Williams over to Mom Point. Monpoint back to Williams from deep. And it's no good.
Another Hastings rebound is showing his hustle here.
So timeout called by Coach Lyons, and so we had three missed three-pointers by Williams, and then we had all of those threes were picked up by Finn Hastings, definitely using that height to his advantage in a big moment like these. If he hit a lot of those threes, this game could be turned completely upside down.
Yeah, Finn Hastings is averaging 2.6 rebounds per game at the moment, but he definitely has at least 5 or 6. And that is definitely showing the type of gritty player he is to fight for his team and generate those opportunities for the Firebirds late in this game.
And he's been generating a lot of opportunities defensively and offensively. So we have a timeout called by Coach Lyons. These timeouts are very effective, and we've seen that. So we have 35.8 seconds left with a 62-62 score here in the fourth, overtime. And this is gonna be very, very intense. So Evan, we've talked about these effective timeouts. Looks like Coach Lyons is gonna stick with the same lineup. We got a speedy Hastings.
Yeah,
just very diverse.
He's sticking with Luke O'Connor, even though that costly travel. He has trust in him, just like he has with all of his players. He believes that he could get the big points or a good assist to give them the lead and possibly win the game.
Now Finn Hastings inbounds it to John Hastings. And covered John Hastings by Williams. Now passes it over to Bowling. Bowling driving in the paint, the shot, and it's quickly picked up by Luke O'Connor. Luke O'Connor back to Bowling. And he thought he could get the three-point out of it, but was quickly covered by Williams using his height to his advantage. But Bowling passes it over to Tagios. Tagios passes it to O'Connor, but it's no good, but it's picked up by Williams. Now intercepted by Finn Hastings, and it's quickly picked up by Herbert.
And we got double overtime coming to the Birds Nest with a score of 62-62. What a thriller we have here. What a game. These two teams are fighting for their lives here in a huge division game, and they can feel the intensity of it.
So we got very intense. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is crazy. Finn Hastings has been on the ground too many times, and he flicked it up, and it was quickly recovered by Herbert, but he could just not get the shot off. It hit it. I thought it was going in, but the curve of it is just the angle that he shot it. If he was a little more to the right, that thing could have been in. This game could have been over, but because of the confidence of this team and the ability to just stay put and, feel good about themselves, and that confidence leads to big plays, and everyone's handing out the Gatorade. This is crazy, and
Christian Jean Francius is coming into the game. He hasn't played all game, but he is coming in to maybe have some. Oh, excuse me, he's staying on the bench, but
he took off his warm-up shirt, so he may be coming in. But he's really good for big blocks. We saw in some earlier games in the season, but this is going to be a very interesting outcome on both sides. Anything could happen here. We got double overtime with a 4-minute quarter.
They're keeping the same lineup out here, having trust with the way they're playing. I don't blame Coach Lyons. They have so much chemistry, especially with the Hastings brothers on there, which they definitely have chemistry. And now double overtime is about to begin.
So we got the tip-off. We got Miles Herbert versus Luke O'Connor. Got 6'6" and 6'0". Both are about the same height, and it will be picked up by Williams. Williams dribbling out, and he passes it over to Patterson. Now they have more time, so they can be a little more relaxed, and it's picked up by Bowling. Bowling going all the way up for the layup, and it's good. 64-62.
He read them like a book there, and he just stole it away for the easy 2 points for Kellenberg.
So now we got Patterson. Over to Mompoint. Over to Herbert. Over to Mompoint again. You know, if they can find Williams here, it would be very, as he's been a lethal shooter, and it's called a N1.
What a finish by him there with the windmill layup, and that's just the type of Patterson, that's the type of player Patterson is. He just can, even in tough situations, he could find a way to get the ball in the hoop.
Patterson has 4 free throws as he takes that one in for the N1. Now Finn Hastings over to Jordan Bowling. Now over to John Hastings. John Hastings getting pressured by Patterson. Now Bowling has it, passes it to O'Connor. O'Connor hands it off to John Hastings. Hastings, and he throws it, but it's quickly intercepted. His intended pass was go to O'Connor, but quickly intercepted by Herbert. And now Patterson has it. Patterson's just a small, fast, you know, it can be pretty annoying, but he can get a bunch of rebounds, and he's a pretty good shooter too, as he pumps fakes the three-pointer, and it hits off the rim just outside the paint, but Williams quickly recovers it, and it's called a foul.
Those rebounds by the Gales were huge there, as they made Kellenberg take a foul there, which could be costly, and sets up opportunity for 2 points with Justin Mompoint at the line.
So we've got Mompoint at the line. He's a dynamic shooter, and that one's in. So Justin Mompoint. So we got a 2-point game now here with 2 minutes and 34 seconds to go. Martin at the second shot.
Marcus Lambright is subbing in.
So Connor.
Huge.
Gets in.
Huge missed layup there. Or free throw, excuse me.
So now John Hastings. Finn Hastings now. Lambright to Bowling from deep. And it hits high, but no good. Oh my goodness. Patterson. So Finn Hastings not very happy with that call. But now Noah Patterson will shoot for 2.
That was a costly foul there and unnecessary, as Patterson was just bringing up the ball and Hastings lost his footing there.
So Noah Patterson gets his first shot. Now for the second one. And the second, and it's in. So we got a 68-64 game. Firebirds trail by 4. Here with 2 minutes left. So we got John Hastings over to Tagios. Bowling puts it in. So we got a 2-point game now here with 2 minutes remaining.
What a pass to Bowling to find him cutting to the net to get in the easy layup there.
So now we got Patterson to Mompoint. Over to Herbert. To Patterson. To Williams. Williams could have passed to Herbert, but he passes to Mompoint instead. Passes over from deep for Williams, and it swirls around, and now Bowling all the way up, and it's no good. Now Mompoint has it. He's dribbling around, getting pressured by Lambright, who was in after Luke O'Connor. Now Williams over to Mompoint. Over to Williams. And it's quickly blocked by Mike Tagios. Lambright over to Hastings, and it's good! Tie game!
We got a tie game here at the Bird's Nest. It's 68-68.
We got 50 seconds left. Electric by Finn Hastings. Now Mompoint dribbling, and he will take it all the way up in the paint. 3 guys blocking him, but he still gets it. So we got a 70-68 game.
And
everybody's hands are on their head.
and one there. What a finish there by Mom Point, and it takes the crowd out of it.
So that was definitely a big mistake. You know, it not even a mistake. It's just they had 3 guys on them, and they had Hastings, which is usually known for big blocks, but in that case it cannot with the Mom Point and one and that.
Timeout called by Coach Lyons here.
And they really need that one. So all they need is a 3-pointer, and they could tie this. This game has been like ping pong, as we brought up earlier, and this thing could extend even further, or they could call it a tie. But we have a 71-68 game with 33.9 seconds left. What are your thoughts on this second period of overtime?
It's just been back and forth. What a with Finn Hastings tying the game, but then coming back to get that tough layup for the Gales was Mom Point, and now they have a 3-point lead. That free throw by Mom Point was clutch because now the Firebirds have to score a 3-pointer to tie the game.
Yeah, I definitely think they can pull this thing off. They have plenty of time. All they need, they have to play lockdown defense, and they cannot let the St. Mary's team get any more points before they leave.
Yeah, definitely.
If they can send this thing into another overtime or even call it a tie, that would be great for the Firebirds. Just to, even if it's a tie, they won't lose anything in their record, but they'll probably still be sitting in one of the lower positions in their National Suffolk League.
Yeah.
You know, this is a big game. It definitely shows, you know, they've been persevering this whole entire game, as Marcus Lambright will inbound this ball.
Yeah, I would look for Lambright or Bowling here who have been hot.
But they got to play fast. And guys like John Hastings. And now he gets it. And it's quickly intercepted. And Herbert will get it in. 73-68. We got 17 seconds left. Bowling passes it over to Lambright. Lambright dribbling, passes it over to Bowling. 5, 4, and it's no good. And that will end it. Final score of 73-68. And that, you know, that was a great game. 73-68. Both teams had just a great game overall. Kellenberg, even though they took the L, it was still a great learning opportunity for them, you know, and for Coach Lyons. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the broadcast. I'm James Went. He's Evan Prasad. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. Final score of 73-68. Firebirds lose.